Your burnout is selfhood trying to be God. Let the Father do the works. I am not speaking of your calendar, nor of the number of emails, nor of the meetings stacked like bricks upon your back. I am speaking of an inner posture that says, I must, I should, I alone. That voice is the doer, the claimant, the counterfeit sovereign. Exhaustion is its perfume. Fatigue is its sacrament. And yet, hear the Master, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. That was not defeat, that was the doorway. That is the word knocking at your tired heart this very moment. Who appointed you engine of the universe? Who whispered that your wit, your schedule, your strategic thought would uphold heaven and earth? Who by taking thought can add a cubit to his stature, make one hair white or black, convert chaos to harmony? Be honest now. Have enough courage to doubt the power of personal will. Have enough courage to sit in your chair and feel the ache in your shoulders and say, all right, if I have been trying to be God, I lay it down. Stop, stop, be still, and know that I am God, not you. I am. Let your tongue fall idle before heaven. Hold those teeth together. Don't tell God. Don't inform the infinite of your projects. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy, not to wallow, but to awaken. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The doer identity is subtle. It borrows your name and says, I'll just push a little more. I'll manage this outcome. I will secure tomorrow. It rides your adrenaline and calls it devotion. It stirs your fear and calls it responsibility. It cannot carry life because it did not create life. Life is spirit. Spirit is the only cause. God is one. Hear it again. God is one. Therefore, there are not two powers, one in your checklist and one in your chest. There is not a power in the task and a power in your anxiety about the task. There is one. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That is not a poem to soothe sheep. It is a verdict on the doer. When the Lord shepherds, you do not push the flock of hours across the desert of your nerves. He maketh me to lie down. He restoreth my soul. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Rest is not a weekend. Rest is not learned information. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Rest is entered when the claimant I alone bows to the presence I am. In that instant of surrender, the axle of your being shifts from engine to instrument, from effort to grace. Do not try to perform this with a thought. Stop performing. Receive. God is. God is one. Let this be the foundation beneath every breath today. Admit of my own self I do nothing, then quietly consent. Father within, do thy works. And watch how the burden slides from your shoulders to the everlasting arms, how the very same day begins to shine with an ease not manufactured by you, but revealed through you. Let us look straight at the mask. It speaks under your breath and pretends to be you. If I don't push, nothing moves. If I don't hold it, it breaks. It knots your stomach and calls it prudence. It clenches your jaw and names that stewardship. But who told you the universe waits for your clench? Who by taking thought has added peace to a frantic hour, stretched time beyond its measure, or created life by vigilance? Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit to his stature? The Master asked that to dissolve the spell of the doer, not to shame, to free. The mask has 2 straps, fear and pride. Fear whispers, you are alone in this. If you release your grip, collapse will rush in. Pride adds, you are the one who makes it all go. be irreplaceable, or be nothing. Together they fashion a face that looks responsible, even noble, but it is only a costume worn by selfhood when it tries to be God. Hear me. It cannot carry life because it did not create life. Life is spirit. Spirit is cause. God is one. As long as you believe there are two powers, your managing power and God's, your days will swing like a door on squeaky hinges between anxiety and exhaustion. Notice the paradox that has scoured your calendar. The more you insist on control, the more life proves uncontrollable. The moment you squeeze, it slips. The minute you script tomorrow, today unspools in another direction. The more you rehearse the argument, the more brittle your compassion becomes. Yes, that is a cost we must name. Anxiety that hums like a wire in the bones. Resentment toward those who do not perform according to your private blueprint. A thin kindness that collapses under strain because it was never the river of God. It was your reservoir, small and soon emptied. You feel that, don't you? Be honest. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy, not as a wound, but as a doorway. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. You have built and rebuilt with thought, with strategy, with will, and still the weather comes. What then remains if the doer steps off the stage? Do you fall into void? No, you fall into presence. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. This is not doctrine to recite, it is a mask removed. It is the soul's native face. God is one. Therefore, there is not your little agency and then divine agency supplementing it on hard days. There is only the one doing its own through its own. Be still and know. Let the teeth rest together. Let the tongue be quiet. Don't tell God. Don't inform the infinite of your program. Consent to be nothing as cause, that you may be everything as instrument. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. When the mask is set down, the wind moves, and harmony by grace, not effort, appears. There are two parts to this work. There is the letter of truth, and there is the spirit or consciousness of truth. The letter is holy, but it is a finger pointing. It gives us language. It clears superstition. It prepares humility, but it does not heal. It cannot. Only realize consciousness heals. Be still and know that I am God is not a sentence for the mind to analyze. It is a door for the heart to enter. Rest is not learned. Rest is entered. Study ends where realization begins. Some of you have collected techniques for rest as a collector gathers shells, better schedules, sharper boundaries, color-coded weeks, breathing apps, and brave affirmations pasted above the sink. For a season they comforted, and be grateful. But hear me now with tenderness and rigor. As long as the personal doer employs a new tool, it is the same driver with a different steering wheel. As long as you believe a good thought is a power, you are far from the kingdom. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. God is one. Therefore, methods have no power of their own. Your calendar has no power to grind you down. Your mantra has no power to lift you up. God is power. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The letter says, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. The Spirit witnesses it. The letter repeats, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Spirit lies down beside still waters without asking how. The letter can describe light. The Spirit is illumined. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it, but you can be it because it already is you. The kingdom of God is within you. How do we cross? Gently, we stop. Stop. Don't go on with vain repetitions. Hold those teeth together. Let your tongue fall idle before heaven. Let the hands rest in the lap. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy as cause. Confess it silently. Father of myself, I do nothing. Not as a formula, as a surrender. Then reduce the many words to 2 words until even 2 are too many. God is. God is one. Sit in that, not trying to feel something, not arranging outcomes, receiving. True prayer puts you on the receiving end of God. In that stillness, you will notice the claimant mind reaching for a handle. Smile at it. Let it pass as a bird across the sky. My thoughts are not your thoughts. We are moving now from talking of God to receiving God, from letter to spirit, from knowledge about rest to the entered hush, where the Father within doeth the works. Remain until the inner tide touches the shore of the heart. When it does, you will know not by argument, but by peace that grace, not effort, is the government of your day. Now be very firm. God is one. Hear it as the first and last law of your day. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. If God is one, there are not 2 powers pressing you, one to do and one to undo. There is not a power in the deadline and a power in the dread of the deadline. There is not a power in tomorrow's uncertainty and a stronger or weaker power in your plan to tame it. God is power. Therefore, everything that claims power apart from God is a shadow without substance. As long as you believe thought is power, you will bargain with your own fears and call it strategy. As long as you credit your best thought for your last success, you will also fear your worst thought as the cause of failure. That is bondage. Who by taking thought can add a cubit to his stature? Not one. Neither your brightest affirmation nor your darkest anxiety moves. The life that is. It is the spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. Thought is not spirit. Thought reports. Spirit is. Let us remove the idol from its little altar. Your cleverness is not cause. Your panic is not cause. Your mantra does not heal. Your worry does not wound. God is one. When you rest in that, you are no longer impressed by mental weather, sunny or stormy. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. The world gives in thoughts and takes away in thoughts. Peace does not arrive by syllable. Peace arrives by presence. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it, and yet God is. God is. Stop making the invisible prove itself to your senses. Stop asking the eternal to register on your pulse of fear or elation. Be still and know. In that knowing, the tyranny of tasks loosens, not because tasks vanish, but because their claim to independent power is recognized as nothing. If God be for us, who can be against us? What list can stand against one? Look at the page that has frightened you. 10,000 tasks lined like soldiers. Count them if you wish. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, and then count God. 1. 10,000 cannot outnumber 1. They are numerals. The 1 is being. The items on your list are effects, not causes. The chatter in your head is echo, not voice. The Father within doeth the works. As you return again and again to this ground, you will see activity reorganize around grace as iron filings arrange around a magnet they did not create and cannot resist. Do you see the reversal? When you relinquish faith in thought, you do not become thoughtless. You become fearless. When you cease bowing to the list, you do not become lazy. You become governed. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. So when the hour swells and obligations parade, do not plead with God to shrink the day. Consent to the one. God is one. Let that be the atmosphere of your breathing, and the so-called many will fall back into their native nothingness while the one reveals its own order through you. If God is one, then prayer cannot be our management of God. Prayer cannot be informing omniscience, persuading love, or rehearsing anxieties in a religious tone. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. And when ye pray, use not vain repetitions. Hear the kindness in that severity. It means cease trying to move the infinite. Let the infinite move you. True prayer puts you on the receiving end of God. Harmony arrives by grace, not by might or management. Stop. Let the tongue rest. Let the teeth come together. Let the mind stand down from its post at the city gate. No more reports to heaven. No shopping list of needs. No weather forecast of fears. No pep talk to the Almighty. Be still and know that I am God. Reduce the many to two until even two are too many. God is. Let those words end argument and begin awareness. Not as magic syllables, not as technique, but as surrender to what already is. Pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. What is this secret? It is the inner consent that the Father within doeth the works. It is the shift from engineering life to being available to life. It is the Spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. You cannot feel spirit with fingers, weigh it on a scale, or capture it in a thought. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it, and yet in the hush that follows God is, a peace appears not as sensation, but as authority. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth through thoughts, through outcomes, but as presence. Try it now, in simple honesty. Sit, hold those teeth together. Let the tongue fall idle before heaven. Breathe as if God is the atmosphere. Whisper within, once or twice, God is one. God is. Then stop. Let the words sink beneath the surface and be quiet. If thoughts parade, do not chase them with better thoughts. Leave them unarmed. Who by taking thought can add a cubit? None. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Remain. 30 seconds is an eternity to the doer. It is a blink to spirit. Let grace do what your best intention could not. If fear rises and it will attempt its old throne, do not argue. Return to the one. God is one. Acquaint now thyself with him and be at peace. This is not passivity. This is relinquishment of counterfeit power. Here, prayer ceases to be performance and becomes receptivity. Here, we do not fix the day, we yield the day. And we will, in a moment, we will turn the keys over. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Not as resignation. Thy will be done is not defeat. It is release into the only will that is love. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. The handover does not make God act. It allows us to witness that God is acting. Let that witnessing begin now and carry you into the next breath, the next task, the next silence. Governed not by might nor by power, but by his Spirit. Now let us do it. Sit. Close the mouth gently. Let the teeth rest together. Let the tongue fall idle before heaven. Let the breath be easy, unforced, as if the very air is the assurance of God. No request, no formula, no informing the infinite. Be still and know that I am God. Let this be the posture of surrender, not an act of piety, but an act of honesty. Begin with the truth that frees. Of my own self, I do nothing. Whisper it within and feel the unclenching that follows. Feel the relief of not being the engine. You were never asked to be the engine. It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Consent to that. Let the shoulders lower. Let the forehead smooth. We are not manufacturing peace. we are ceasing to oppose it. Now, the mantram. Only once or twice, not as magic, not as lever. God is. Allow the silence to widen after each whisper as a lake widens after a stone's soft entry. God is. Then stop. Don't reach for effect. Don't test the room, the pulse, the skin. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. God is. Let awareness rest in that is. Sensing will arise on its own, a subtle, unforced aliveness, not a sensation to be admired, but a presence to be received. Do not grab, receive. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing, as the mind tries to diagnose, to explain, to make a chart of this, say inwardly, stop, stop, return to the one. God is one. Remain as the listener, not the speaker, the instrument, not the cause. Now, the handover. One by one, but without drama, place the day into the quiet. The meeting, the child, the bank account, the ache in the body, the name that troubles you, the plan that flatters you, the fear that stalks you. Do not dress them up with requests. Simply lay them in the hush and say within, Father, you do the works, not my will, but thine. This is not imagining outcomes. This is yielding agency to the presence that actually acts. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Let each item sink as a stone sinks into deep water and is held without your vigilance. Remain. Go a little past comfort's first edge. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Wait until the inward peace, not impatience, says, enough. You will know it by its character. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. It will not be excitement. It will be authority. When that peace is spoken, seal the prayer without words. Give thanks without syllables. Let gratitude be a weightless bow of the heart. Then rise slowly, naturally, but do not pick the burden back up. Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Walk into the next step as one carried, not as one carrying. God is one. The Father within doeth the works. Keep the mouth gentle. Keep the inner ear open. If, as you move, the old claimant reaches for the reins, pause and return. God is. And go on, governed not by might, nor by power, but by his Spirit. Now carry this into the corridor where you spend your hours. Undo the triangle. There is not you the fixer, a problem resisting, and a distant God waiting to be invited. That picture is idolatry. It multiplies powers. God is one. Hear me. The practitioner and the so-called problem and the presence are not three. One life constitutes all that appears. In him we live and move and have our being. If life is one, what is there to fix? Only a misrecognition to release. Only an appearance to be seen through. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. When you walk into the meeting, do not enter as a personality seeking advantage, defending a corner, proving a point. Enter as presence. Before your hand touches the door, hold those teeth together. Let the tongue fall idle before heaven and whisper within only once, God is. Then stop. Let the Father within go before you to make the crooked places straight. You are not carrying God into that room. God is the room, the breath, the exchange, the very willingness to hear. Where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. In that midst, strain dissolves into shared sufficiency. You ask, but my colleague is difficult, my client demands, my deadline presses. As long as you grant them independent power, you must wrestle. Who by taking thought can soften a heart, stretch an hour, manufacture wisdom. Of your own self you do nothing. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy as cause. Then recognize the same life that looks at you through your eyes now looks back at you through theirs. One life, one mind that is mind. For we are members one of another. You are not crossing a canyon with words. You are resting in a unity already present before the conversation begins. This ends transaction. We are not moving pieces on a board, coaxing outcomes, repositioning a problem from over here to over there. We are recognizing wholeness already here. The child of God is not an improved personality. The child of God is the only identity present. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. But you can yield to it. In that yielding, speech becomes service instead of strategy. Action becomes transparency instead of effort. It is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The email writes itself with clarity that does not strain. The negotiation finds a third way you could not invent, not by might nor by power, but by his spirit. Practice it this simply. At the start of any task, pause, stop, drop the imaginary triangle, consent to oneness. God is one. Let the pressure to win, to defend, to hurry be laid upon the altar. Then proceed as one carried. Listen more than you speak. When you speak, let the words rise out of peace, not out of fear's stopwatch. If two in that room consent only two to the truth that there is one presence living all, there am I in the midst. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty for both of you. Work becomes light when we stop working on life and start working as life. The Father within doeth the works. And in that recognition, tasks lose their tyranny, relationships lose their combat, and the day is no longer your burden. It is God's self-expression through you. God is one. Remain there and let the one reveal its own order as your work. Now we come to the doorway that frightens the doer and frees the worker. You can do nothing, therefore all is done. Hear it as the Master's own testimony, not as a slogan. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. This is not defeat. This is release into cause. In ceasing to be the cause, you become the instrument through which cause reveals itself. Ask yourself plainly and be finished with the old spell. Who by pressure produces peace? Who by fear creates safety? Who by guilt grows love? Who by hurry discovers holy timing? Who by self-rehearsal finds wisdom for the unscripted hour? Who by taking thought adds a cubit to stature or adds one drop of grace to a graceless minute? Not one. It is the Spirit that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The logic is merciful and severe. As long as you cling to personal causation, you bind yourself to personal limitation. Release the claim, and you are carried by the limitlessness of the one. Admit it quietly, honestly. Of myself, I do nothing. That admission ends the hidden war that exhausts you, the war against time, against others, against your own trembling. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. When you stop fighting to be cause, you stop defending an identity never given you by God. The moment weakness is acknowledged, strength appears as sufficiency. My grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is made perfect in weakness. The doer hears that and trembles. The worker hears it and rests. What, then, do we lay down? Lay down cleverness. Its sharpened edges have cut enough. Lay down memory of affronts and of triumphs. Neither is a present guide. Lay down technique holy or secular if it promises power in your hands. Lay down the timeline, you do not hold the clock of heaven. Lay down spiritual ambition. The thirst to be seen is surrendered, is still thirst for self. Lay down even the prayer that cajoles or accelerates. Stop. Let your tongue fall idle before heaven. Let those teeth rest together. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy as cause, not to collapse, but to open. Return to the minimalist center. God is one. Reduce the many to one, and then let even the syllables fall away. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, God is. Take no thought for your life. Consider the lilies. They do not toil as you have toiled within. Yet order clothes them. Timing serves them. Beauty is the natural language of their being. So, with you, when the inner hand unclenches, what follows surrender, unforced clarity, right timing, quiet, right action arising of itself, not passivity, transparency. It shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Words come without strain because they are not yours. Steps appear because the path is living you. Doors open and no one can shut because no human hand opened them. A no becomes clean and is received without wound. A yes arrives like morning and needs no trumpet. The reconciliation you could not script softens both hearts, not by technique but by presence, not by might nor by power, but by his spirit. Remain here. When the old claimant rises, do not wrestle. Recognize and release. Return to the one God is. In ceasing to be the cause, you are found as the instrument. The Father within doeth the works. And in that recognition, all is done, not all you planned, but all that love is expressing as this very hour. God is one. Let us be practical without betraying the secret. Discipline here is not effort to achieve. It is rhythm that protects receptivity to grace. Think of it not as pushing the river, but clearing its banks. We will set a trellis for the vine. The vine is life. The fruit is of God. Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy as cause, and then consent to a simple rule. Morning. Before the first email, before the first headline enters as a thief, give 7 minutes to wordless receiving. Close the mouth gently. Let the teeth rest together. Let the tongue fall idle before heaven. No reports, no requests, no designing of the day. Whisper within once or twice, God is. Then stop. Pray to thy Father, which is in secret. Seal the handover. Of my own self, I do nothing. Father, you do the works. Sit in that hush until peace, not impatience, says enough. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it. Nevertheless, God is. Rise and let the first act be governed, not chosen. Midday, on the hour, 1 minute, only this. Stop, wherever you are. Hallway, car, sink, turn within. Whisper once, God is. Do nothing else. No moral inventory, no spiritual calisthenics. Be still and know that I am God. These are punctuations in the sentence of your day. They do not add words. They add silence where grace can be heard. Pre-action. Before decisions. Before the send. Before the yes or the no. Pause. Acknowledge inadequacy as doorway. Of myself I do nothing. Invite not as magic as honesty, Father, do the works. It shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Then move as one carried. If there is no inner release, wait. If there is peace, proceed. Not by might, by spirit. Evening. Examine, not as scolding, but as surrender. Sit quietly and let the day replay like weather across a window. Where did you grab the wheel? Name it and lay it down. Cast thy burden upon the Lord. Where did grace carry you? Give thanks without syllables. Where there is sting, release it into oneness. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Let the ledger close in peace. Do not take tomorrow's work back to bed. Sabbath moments. Schedule unstructured windows, 15 minutes, an hour set apart, not to recharge the doer, but to remember there is none. No content, no plan. A chair by a window. A slow walk without destination. The Sabbath was made for man. Stand still. Let the soul reacquaint with its own source. God is one. If you miss a bell, do not make a law. Return. The law is love. This rhythm is mercy on your nerves and an open door to grace. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Hold to the simple trellis, morning seal, hourly stop, pre-action pause, evening release, Sabbath remembering. God is, the Father within doeth the works. We stand now at the simple ground we have trod again and again until it is no longer ground but air. God is one. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Hear it as a benediction and a charge. If there is only one power, then there is no other power to exhaust you, no second power to threaten you, no third power you must manufacture to save yourself, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. Be very firm in your understanding of your own inadequacy as cause, and then be at ease in the all-sufficiency of the one as effect. This is the shift of identity that ends burnout. We lay down the costume of private selfhood and are found as shared presence. He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. You have tried to be an engine, you were made to be an instrument. The engine strains under its own image of duty. The instrument sings at the lightest touch. The doer dies, and nothing precious is lost, only the counterfeit burden. What remains is the transparency through which the Father expresses himself as this hour. It is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. Your life is no longer powered by you, it is expressed through you. Where the Spirit of the Lord is recognized, liberty appears in the body. The clutch in the chest loosens without argument. In the schedule, time ceases to be an enemy and becomes a servant. In relationship, defensiveness melts into hearing, and hearing becomes wisdom. You can't see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, or think it, and yet it is as tangible as rest after storm. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. The world gives by outcome and takes by outcome. Presence gives itself, and in that giving, all else finds place. So here is the charge, as kind as it is uncompromising. Begin tonight. 5 minutes of silence, no speeches to heaven, no management, only receptivity. Close the mouth gently. Let the teeth rest together. Let the tongue fall idle before heaven. Stop. Stop. Whisper within once or twice, God is. Then be still. Make one sincere handover. Of my own self I do nothing. Father, you do the works. And make one refusal to retake the load. When the hand reaches for the reins out of habit, say within, no. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Leave it where you laid it. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And let this be communal, not solitary. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. If 10 righteous ones can hold a city, surely a handful of hearts consenting to, one can lighten a household, a team, a street. United consciousness is not addition. It is recognition of the one already constituting all. As we abide together in that one, the burden of many becomes the ease of one. The yoke passes from the small shoulders to the everlasting arms. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Receive now the benediction that is also your true nature. Go as instrument, not engine. Walk as one carried. Let your yes and your no rise from the peace that requires no defense. Pray without words, act without strain, love without fear. God is one. The Father within doeth the works. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Fear not, little flock. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Carry nothing, be carried, and let the grace of God appear